begin writing our first literary essay. Today, what I want you to do is listen to this video and then write your introduction and your conclusion for your essay. Now, I know that sounds weird that we're just going to write a beginning and an end, but trust me, it will make sense as we're going to write the body paragraphs together so that when you do your next essay, you will know exactly what to do from beginning to end. So let's talk about introductions and conclusions. Introductions are your way to give the reader some background about what you're going to write about, or to tell them why you chose the topic or the thesis that you did. And speaking of thesis, you all should remember from our vocabulary video that your thesis statement will go as the last sentence at the end of the first paragraph. So you'll give your reader some background or tell them about what you're writing about for a sentence or two, and then you'll include your thesis statement at the end of that first paragraph. And we'll go over an example of what that introduction will look like in just a moment. For conclusions, we should all know that the word conclusion means to end, and so this will be your last paragraph of your essay. And as you can see here, it says, conclusions summarize your essay by reviewing the 3 reasons you gave for as support for your thesis. And it could include a call to action, meaning you want someone to do something. It could be a reminder of your topic, or you could kind of end it with humor as well. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples. An example of introduction, an example of a conclusion. Many family members have an influence on our lives. Some are meaningful for a few years, and others shape the people we are. I believe my grandmother had an important influence on the person I am today. So as you can see, I have 3 sentences there. One kind of giving a little bit of background about what I'm going to write about. And then the second sentence kind of going a little bit further on that background. And then as you can see, my last sentence here is my thesis statement. I believe my grandmother had an important influence on the person I am today. So this last sentence is where you'll put the thesis statements that we worked on together. That will be your last sentence for your introduction. Let's talk really quickly about conclusions. Here's an example conclusion of a way that I could end an essay. For these and many other reasons, I believe my grandmother was a huge influence on the person I became today. It was through her example that I learned how to be kind, patient, and an understanding person. Without her, I'm sure my life would be very different, and for that, I could never thank her enough. So you can see that I reviewed my 3 pieces of evidence. And you don't even need to read this essay to know what my 3 pieces of evidence are. I learned how to be kind, I learned how to be patient, and I learned how to be an understanding person, thanks to her. And so I decided to end not with a call to action, but basically just a thank you to my grandmother. Okay? And you can end your essay that way too, with a call to action, or just simply reviewing what you wrote about. I could have stopped my conclusion right here. These 2 sentences would have been a good enough conclusion. But I just felt like throwing one more in there just to give my grandmother a shout out. So, those are introductions and conclusions. I want you to give it a try today. Write an introduction and write a conclusion about the books that you all have read. Going Someplace Special, Bully, Rosa, and Bass, the Outlaw. Okay, so give all those a try. Oh, and Grace for President too. So think about those books and try to write an introduction and a conclusion so that we can get our essay started this week.